In the names of all that we call sacred and holy, we offer our prayers of gratitude and ask for blessings on all who have made this day possible. Our families who have sacrificed and given so much, the faculty and staff and administrators for their gifts of support and contributions to the learning experience. We thank you for our fellow students who've shared these years with us. Long nights, busy weekends, study groups, performances, games. We thank you for all those who have given so generously of their resources to make this wonderful place a possibility. And now, we ask for your blessings on this special moment as we together celebrate the class of 2026. Amen. It's now my honor to introduce Memory Henry for our land acknowledgement.
Halito, Chimichukma, Saho Chifuyat, Memory Rayanne Henry, Mississippi Chutta, Okla Iyasha Imitili. Hello, how are you all? My name is Memory Rayanne Henry, and I am a member of the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians. As we gather today in celebration, I would like to take a moment to honor the original stewards of this land, the Marayam or Serrano people of the Uhaviatam, as well as the Cahuilla. Although this is not the land of my ancestors, I have had the privilege of calling this place a home away from home. Since time immemorial, this land has carried the stories, strength, and spirit of the Serrano people, who continue to walk it today and care for it today. The Cahuilla people, whose homelands stretch across the inland valleys, deserts, and mountains of Southern California, have long maintained deep relationships with the land through their knowledge of water, plant life, and seasonal movement. We recognize leaders such as James C. Ramos, a University of Redlands alumnus and the first California Native American state legislator, whose work reflects the enduring presence and leadership of Native communities. Despite the impacts of displacement, colonization, and attempts at erasure, these communities remain resilient, vibrant, and deeply connected to their homelands, continuing to preserve their cultures, languages, and traditions. Today, the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians remains an active and vital presence in this region, contributing to the broader community while honoring their ancestors and heritage. As we celebrate this milestone, I want to express my gratitude and again recognize the original stewards of this land. It is through the Uhaviatam's enduring presence and contributions that I have been able to pursue my education in a place that was once unfamiliar to me. As we honor the legacy of the Serrano people and acknowledge the histories of the Cahuilla, may we also recognize the responsibility that comes with our education. Graduates, as you step forward with your bachelor's degree, carry with you not only knowledge, but also a commitment to lead with integrity, respect, and awareness of the histories that shape the communities you serve. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Krista Newkirk, President of the University of Redlands, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, faculty, and staff, it is my great honor and delight to welcome you to the 2026 undergraduate commencement ceremony. Please allow me to recognize a few distinguished individuals here today. First, I'd like to extend my appreciation and welcome to the members of our Board of Trustees who have joined us. Trustees, would you please stand? Next, please Please join me in thanking our outstanding faculty. They have mentored, challenged, cheered on, and occasionally granted those much-needed extensions. Faculty, would you please stand so we can recognize you? To our active duty and military veterans among us today, we invite you to stand as well. We want to thank you for your service and commitment to our country. And finally, to all the families, parents, and supporters who have been the foundation of these graduates' success, your encouragement, sacrifices, and unwavering belief in them have helped make this moment possible. Graduates, let's give them a big round of applause. Today, we are also honored to welcome Dr. Chuck O'Neill, a proud member of the class of 1985 and a true bulldog for life. Throughout his career, Chuck has helped translate scientific innovation into therapies that have improved countless lives. We are grateful for the wisdom he will share today and proud to recognize his achievements with an honorary doctorate of humane letters. Okay, graduates, I have a question for you. Lately, my social media feed has been filled with a trend of where people look back at who they were years ago. Photos from the 90s, for me, early career days, and as someone who has really enjoyed the 90s and has the pictures of the amazing spiral perm to prove it, thank God there was no social media back then. I have to say my algorithm is fully committed to this theme. So at the heart of that is a very simple question. Who were you 4 years ago compared to who you are now? What was it like for you when you first arrived at Redlands? I remember that 4 years ago, the campus you stepped onto was already changing. We introduced George Willis, the university's beloved bulldog mascot. And we are so relieved that he is healthy again and able to make an appearance today. Anderson Hall was under renovation. University Hall was being reimagined, and the Aero Rail line had just begun operation, connecting our campus community to the greater Southern California region. We were also taking a bold step forward, launching a merger with Presidio Graduate School that would expand our work in sustainability and business. We were contemplating adding solar power to the campus to help meet our sustainability goals and operate more economically and efficiently. And now, here we are. George has become one of the most recognized members of our community, and as you know, he hasn't been feeling well lately, so again, we're really happy that he's here. Our nationally ranked esports program competes in a state-of-the-art arena. The Aero Rail line is fully operational, and our region is now home to the first hydrogen-powered passenger train in North America. Anderson was renovated, and most importantly, it has air conditioning. Presidio is part of our School of Business and Society, and now Woodbury University is joining our university. And our solar-covered parking lot is up and generating sun-powered energy for our campus. So yes, a lot has changed, but the most meaningful change isn't what's been built around you, it's what's been built within you. 4 years ago, you arrived with questions. Today, you leave with directions. 4 years ago, you were looking for your place. Today, you are stepping into your purpose. You are researchers, artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, scholars, and leaders. You are graduates. Your remarkable class includes 511 students, and together you represent the very best of the Bulldog spirit. 111 of you competed as Bulldog athletes. Athletes, would you raise your hand? "87 of you are members of Greek organizations. Greeks, where are you? 85 of you are legacy students carrying forward a proud Redlands family tradition. Legacy students, where are you? Awesome. 129 of you began your Redlands journey as transfer students, demonstrating the courage and determination it takes to chart a new path. Transfer students, where are you? Awesome. And 246 of you, almost 50% of this class, are first-generation college graduates. We know what determination it takes to reach that landmark. So, first-generation graduates, would you stand for a moment so we can recognize you? That brings me such joy. Of course, numbers tell only part of the story. The real story lives in late night studying, in performances that went better than expected, in internships where you quietly realized, oh, I think this is really what I want to do, and in friendships that made it all possible. That is the Redlands experience, not just what you learned, but who you became. And years from now, someone may ask you the question, who were you back in 2026? I hope you remember this moment. I hope you remember the people who supported you, the challenges that shaped you, and the laughter that got you through more than a few difficult weeks. But most of all, I hope you remember this. Your story is just beginning. This is the turning of a page, the end of one chapter, but also an exciting new beginning. Class of 2026, wherever your path leads you, across the country or around the world, carry forward what you've learned here: curiosity, courage, and a commitment to making a difference. The world needs you, and we cannot wait to see what you will do next. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Good morning. Thank you, President Newkirk. I'm David Ensminger, class of 1985, and it's my honor and privilege to be here to celebrate the graduates of the University of Redlands. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, my heartiest congratulations on the hard work and dedication that you have brought to this day. Almost exactly 41 years ago, I sat in chairs just like yours, ready to walk across the stage. I was excited to receive my diploma, but truth be told, I had a lot of uncertainty. Like so many of you, I was a first-generation college student. Coming here and then continuing on to grad school was all uncharted waters for me. Was I ready? To be honest, I was a little scared and uncertain. Some of you might feel that way. But let me tell you a few things that I've learned in the 41 years since I've graduated. First, you've made a superior choice to come to the University of Redlands, a choice that will pay dividends over your lifetime. Your outstanding education has prepared you well for whatever your chosen path may be. I know that earning your diploma wasn't easy. It wasn't easy 41 years ago. But I loved my time at Redlands, the incredible classes. I'm sure I had way more fun than I should have had, but it was also a lot of hard work. But since graduation, my own graduation, I will tell you, you are ready no matter what comes your way. The promise of a Redlands education has prepared you better than most. The care and investment that our faculty has made in you will pay dividends. After Redlands, I went on to law school, and in law school, I didn't have a single class that was as difficult as the classes I had with Dr. Art Svensson here at Redlands. I just want to honor Art, who is retiring this year after teaching here for 4.5 decades. As a first-year student here, when I came onto campus not knowing what I wanted to study at all, I had a freshman seminar with Dr. Kevin O'Neill, a professor of philosophy who taught here for over 40 years and unfortunately recently passed this year. I honor him. But one day he said something in class that I have never forgotten. He said, "I have never worked a day in my life, and I never intend to." And what he meant by that was that he so loved teaching that he didn't consider it work. I think of that often. So the advice that I would impart to you is strive hard to find someone who will pay you to do what you like to do. I commend that to all of you. And when that opportunity comes, be ready to say yes and go for it. You won't regret taking chances. You won't regret seizing the day, but you might regret failing to take chances. So in closing, welcome to the family of Bulldogs for Life. We are so honored to have you join us. Congratulations, class of 2026. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Taylor Whaley.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Taylor Whaley, and I'm honored to speak today about something we have all experienced in different ways in our lives: fear. Because right now, the world feels uncertain. There's conflict, there's division, and the news can make us feel afraid of what's happening now and of what's coming next. But during my time here at the University of Redlands, I've realized something important. Fear doesn't go away. What matters is how we respond to it. As a student athlete playing women's basketball and even stepping outside of my comfort zone to play flag football my senior year, fear showed up in small, quiet moments. Being scared to make a mistake in front of a crowd, pushing through when my body was exhausted, and even questioning, am I good enough? I remember one moment that really changed how I think about fear, and it wasn't even during a game. It was during the 5:55 conditioning test for basketball here at Redlands, and if you know, you know. It's 19 full court down and backs, all timed with no breaks and no room to slow down. Your body is exhausted, your legs feel heavy, and your mind starts telling you to stop. That's what fear looks like sometimes. Not loud, but quiet. It's that voice that tells you you're not capable. And in that moment, I had a choice. Listen to that voice or push through it. And I kept going. And that's when I realized you are capable of more than your fears want you to believe. That lesson stayed with me. I had to face that again when I moved over 1,000 miles away from home to come to college. And again, last summer when I moved to Los Angeles for an internship with the WNBA Los Angeles Sparks. I was living on my own in a new city without my teammates or my usual support system. I had to learn how to adapt, how to build relationships, and how to step into a professional environment with confidence, even when I didn't feel it yet. I learned to ask questions, to connect with people from completely different backgrounds, to find common ground. Whether it was working with kids, meeting people from around the world at games, or even unexpectedly interacting with someone like Magic Johnson, those moments show me that growth happens when you lean into the uncomfortable. and I realized something else. Success isn't one fixed outcome. For me, success became about facing my fears, stepping outside of my comfort zone, and finding ways to connect with and impact others. When I came back to campus, I started to see those same moments right here. Whether it was talking with people at the Commons Dining Hall or meeting new people in Duke Hall, those everyday interactions became some of the most meaningful parts of my experience. They reminded me that connection, growth, and stepping outside of your comfort zone don't just happen in the big moments. They happen in the small ones too. Fear shows up in our academic lives too. When we present in front of a class, share a new idea, or worry about failing a test. And for many of us, that feeling started the moment we first got here. Moving into a new environment in a shared communal dorm, meeting a roommate for the first time, figuring out where we belong. Those moments can feel just as uncertain, but they teach us how to adapt, how to connect, and over time, they prepared us for the next steps ahead. But here's what Redlands has taught me: to ask the right questions, to problem solve, to bounce back from challenges, and ultimately, how to respond to fear. So to the class of 2026, I would ask, what fears have you faced during your time here? Because whether you realize it or not, you've already proven that you have the ability to overcome them. And now, more than ever, it is on us to lead responsibly in a complicated and divided world. That means having courage, being thoughtful, being brave. It means asking questions, connecting with others, and continuing to learn. Because the truth is, fear can either stop you or it can shape you. So don't let fear hold you back. Use it as motivation to move forward, to grow, to make a difference. Your education and your experiences at the University of Redlands are the most powerful tools that you have. They have prepared you for this moment, whether you feel ready or not. So if I could leave you with one final message, it would be this: fear will always be a part of your life, but it does not get to decide your future. You do. You are ready, you are capable, and everything you need to succeed is already within you. Thank you.
Kick waits for you.
Slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you wanna be before your time. Although it's so romantic on the borderline tonight. Too bad, but it's the life you lead. You're so ahead of yourself that you forgot what you need. Though you can see when you're wrong, you know you can't always see when you're right. You're right. You've got your passion, you've got your pride. Don't you know that only fools are satisfied? It's alright, you can't afford to lose a day or two. Ooh, when will you realize Vienna waits for you? Slow down, you crazy child. Take the phone off the hook and disappear for a while. It's alright.
You can't afford to lose a day or two. Ooh. When will you realize Vienna waits for you? And you know that when the truth is told, you can get what you want or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Ooh. When will you realize
Vienna waits for you. When will you realize?
Vienna waits for you?
Class of 2026, make some noise! Come on! Yeah!
Good morning. I am Adrienne McCormick, Provost of the University of Redlands. I am honored to recognize the following outstanding faculty award recipients. As I read your names, I invite you to stand and remain standing if you are able and present until I have called the names of all award recipients. I ask the audience to do your best to hold your applause until all names have been read. For outstanding teaching, Anthony Suter, music. Outstanding research and creative activity, Pauline Reynolds, education, and Wendy Farley, theology. Outstanding service, Dan Klooster, environmental studies, and Eric McLaughlin, political science. For teaching innovation, Sawa Kuratani, sociology and anthropology. And our global impact awards go to Jerry Groshek, business, and Susan Goldstein, psychology. Please join me in recognizing the accomplishments of these outstanding faculty members. Now, I am honored to recognize the faculty members who will retire from the University of Redlands at the end of this academic year. Together, they represent 478 years of service to the University of Redlands. If you're present, I invite you to stand and remain standing. And again, do your best to hold your applause until all names have been read, but we know that can be challenging. The following faculty could not be with us today, but we want to honor their names. Jim Bentley, Math Department, 25 years of service. Penny McElroy, Media and Communications, 40 years of service. Jill Robinson, Business Department, 30 years of service. And Melissa Tosh, Conservatory of Music, 27 years of service. The following faculty are with us this morning, and we are thrilled to honor their combined contributions. Nancy Carrick, English Department and former provost, 46 years of service. Larry Gross, Race and Ethnic Studies Department, 15 years. Kathy Hickey, Conservatory of Music, 23 years. Xinyan Jiang, Philosophy Department, 26 years. Dan Klooster, Environmental Studies Department, 18 years. Fred Rabinowitz, Psychology Department, 42 years. And Art Svensson, Political Science Department, 45 years. Please join me in recognizing these esteemed faculty members who have contributed so much. Now I invite President Newkirk and honorary degree recipient Chuck O'Neill to the podium.
This year, the University of Redlands is pleased to have Chuck O'Neill, class of 1985, deliver our commencement address. He is also the recipient of a University of Redlands Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degree. Dr. Chuck O'Neill is a biotech leader with a 30-year track record of translating scientific innovation into therapies, contributing to 19 approved medicines across multiple disease areas. He co-founded MCal Therapeutics in 2020 to advance lipid-based treatments for ocular and mucosal diseases. Throughout his career, Chuck has helped advance breakthrough therapies to address cardiovascular, oncology, ophthalmology diseases, and rare genetic metabolic disorders. A proud University of Redlands graduate, Chuck holds a PhD in veterinary pharmacology and toxicology from UC Davis, is a diplomat of the American Board of Toxicology, is a co-inventor of 26 U.S. patents, and has co-authored more than 80 scientific publications. Let's give him a round of applause. At this time, it is my privilege on behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of Redlands to present the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters as evidenced by this doctoral hood and by the presentation of this diploma of the University of Redlands, signed by the Chair of the Board of Trustees and embossed with the seal of the university, recognizing Chuck's outstanding accomplishments. Chuck, by the authority vested in me by the State of California and the University of Redlands Board of Trustees, I present to you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto.
Good morning. Great to see everyone today. Distinguished professors, administrators, members of the Board of Trustees that are present, to the family and friends, and most importantly, to the graduates of the University of Redlands class of 2026. You are here with your support team in the stands and seated behind me as you go through this commencement, or what we consider a new beginning. I'd like to thank President Newkirk and Dr. McCormick for this wonderful honor, and thank President Newkirk for such a wonderful, welcoming introduction. Now, as you can probably tell from that introduction, I'm a scientist by training, a training that began over 40 years ago here at the University of Redlands. And it was founded in the scientific method. And the scientific method is fairly straightforward. And it just doesn't apply to the hard sciences of physics and biochemistry and chemistry. It applies to every vocation and every curriculum that is present in the seats in front of me today. You will use that scientific method as you move through your career. And I will argue that you will use it in almost every aspect of your life as it relates to getting along with your family and friends, with your spouse, with your children, and taking care of your parents as they age. You will use this method moving forward to advance greater good for society. Now, when I explain the scientific method, it's fairly straightforward. You make observations, you develop a hypothesis, you control experiments to test that hypothesis, you analyze the results, and you try and communicate those results. And if you're lucky, it works out 20% of the time, and we just rinse and repeat until we get to a point where we have good valid data, and we have fidelity in that data to make a conclusion and to move forward with a path of solving a problem. Then we have to go out and communicate that. As a scientist, I communicate that in several ways. I communicate it in a boardroom to get funding to move the project forward. I communicate it with regulators at the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, so they will allow clinical trials to move forward. And I communicate it with my colleagues at scientific meetings. And that's a little anxious. Certainly I'm excited because I get to present the team's findings, but I'm a little anxious because you're opening yourself up to criticism. And that's fine, because within a few seconds of opening yourself up to that criticism, whether it's the boardroom, whether it's with the FDA, or whether it's with your scientific peers, in the overwhelming majority of instances, 99% of the time, it is very supportive criticism. It is done professionally, and it is done in a manner that you realize that everybody's on the same team. We're all trying to do the same thing, and that's make the world a better place, whether it's in drug development as we get drugs to patients that critically need them, or if it's in any of the other disciplines that are represented in front of me today. So a few words to go along with that scientific method that I'd like you to remember. The first is passion. You will need that passion to drive yourself forward to approach a problem. You also need objectivity to check that passion, to keep the valid results moving forward and not just run off a spur of the moment thought that you have. We see that so often in our society today. All of that is built on integrity. Integrity from yourself and integrity of the team. And here's where your University of Redlands education is going to stand out among all others. When we wander around this campus and we take classes in multiple different areas, we are exposed to a broad horizon and the different perspectives of approaching a problem from a team basis. And you gather your team together to build a better product at the end because you've taken the diverse number of opinions and thoughts and put them into place as you can move forward and solve a problem. The communication part is hard. In the written communication, yes, we do the scientific method as well. I think Dr. Carrick, in my freshman year in a composition class, just said, "No, I think we need to try again, Chuck, so rewrite it." So that's what's going to happen out there as well. So it's the team that you put together with like-minded people around you that are open to new ideas on how to solve the problem, which is going to bring the project forward. Now, for myself, that's drug development. I've been lucky enough to work on teams through my entire career that have developed cancer medications and developed drugs for heart attacks and strokes and developed drugs to treat blindness. And I'm happy to say that I've impacted well over 100 million patients worldwide with those drugs. And that couldn't have been done without a team understanding everything from the molecular binding of a drug to a receptor to the impact on the patient's life. Are you making that life better? Are you making that person feel in such a way that they can go back to school or they can go back to work? Are you easing the burden on the caregiver? And are you easing the burden on society and allowing that person to contribute to society in a very effective manner with that therapy? That reigns true in my heart with every new project I begin with, in every team that I'm lucky enough to put together. So as you move forward, the three things that you need there is that passion to drive to get to solve a problem and solve an issue. You need that objectivity to understand what facts are real and what is just spurious. And thirdly, you certainly need the integrity that comes from within yourself, on judging yourself, and you need that support integrity of the team around you to move projects forward. No one does this alone. Now, the fourth thing I'd like to talk about is certainly about urgency. I was about a third of the way through my career, and I was working on a drug for a rare genetic disorder that affects children. They were born without a protein that digests the cellular garbage that accumulates in their cells, and these folks, they don't get very tall. It affects their skeletal system. It affects their internal organs. Usually don't live past the age of 15 or 20 years of life, and they're usually in a wheelchair by the age of 8. So we put together the science on this, and I convinced my board to move it forward. I convinced the FDA to move it forward, and I convinced my peers in the scientific community that we were moving this forward, all of which were behind us to move this project. We got into clinical trials. The drug was successful. It was approved. At the company I was at that time, we threw a little celebration when the drug's approved. And one of the patients was there. She was local. I live in the Bay Area. She lived in Oakland. She came over to me, 4 feet tall, maybe 7 or 8 years old at the time, and grabbed my hand. I knelt down, and she said, "Dr. O'Neill, thank you for the medicine." At that point in time, your knees go weak and your eyes well up. And I realized at that point in time I was called. And I was alluded to earlier, it's not a job, it's your calling. You need to find that calling. And with that calling came excitement, but came a little dread. Because if we even delayed therapy to that little girl for 2 or 3 years, she would be in a wheelchair. And she probably wouldn't have made it to her second decade of life. And I was happy enough to receive prom pictures from her almost a decade later and attend her high school graduation. I didn't make it to her college graduation, but she got her first job as a patient advocate for a drug company, and she's getting married in a couple months. That's what you need to drive yourself forward, is you need that passion. You need that ability to take that passion and look at the science objectively and look at the whole patient and the whole society of moving it forward. And you need to do it urgently. Now, we're in a world that seems to be losing its ability for critical thinking. You, as graduates, have been trained in critical thinking to look at problems from multiple points of view, to solve those problems and build your teams to move the problems down the road. And that's what I ask you to do. The critical thinking is gone. It needs to come back, and this is what your calling is, at least to me. You have your support group in the stands around you and behind me on this stage. We're proud of you. We're excited about what you're going to do. You're going to face challenges, but you're going to get through them and help this society out. With that, congratulations, graduate. You have done a wonderful job. All of us on stage here, all of us in the stands are excited about what you're going to accomplish, and we need you to do it. We need you to help us build a respectful society that is moving us all forward. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Greetings, I'm Dr. Vajra Watson. I'm the proud dean for the School of Education. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Education Studies please stand and remain standing? President Newkirk, the candidates whose names are printed in the program have satisfactorily completed all the requirements for graduation or soon will do so and are recommended by the School of Education faculty for their degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Redlands and the laws of the State of California, I confer upon you the Bachelor of Arts degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Candidates, you may line up and come forward so we may recognize your accomplishments individually.
Micah Janea Pasag Brillantes. Saul Rubacalva Perez. Priscilla D. Brizuela. Tyra Jackson. Krista Overmeyer.
Good morning, class of 2026. I'm Dr. Jennifer Madden, Dean of the School of Business and Society. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelors of Science in Business from the School of Business and Society please stand up and remain standing? Yes. President Newkirk, the candidates whose names are printed in the program have satisfactorily completed all the requirements for graduation or soon will do so and are recommended by the School of Business and Society faculty for their degrees.
Graduates, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Redlands and the laws of the State of California, I confer upon you the respective bachelor's degrees with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Candidates, you may be seated until the ushers call you by row to come forward so that we may acknowledge your achievements individually.
Michael Daniel Austin. Joseph Lawrence Naratelli. Julian Chan Medina. Omari Ferguson. Mary Catherine Riveros.
Anika Lizette Vega. Alyssa M. Martin. Ruby Felix. Grace E. Soria. Katharina Larson. Brooklyn Hodge. Myra Nunez. Darren C. Beck. Edgar Garcia. Gavin J. Oliver. Axel A. Delgado. Vanessa Valdez Cerrato. Stephen E. Scherer. Jasmine Lisette Contreras Resino. Heather A. Garcia. Matthew R. Kusowitz. Daniel Ray Sanchez. Leslie Pelayo. Christopher Michael Larkin. Catherine Ho Costa. CJ Brown. Cesar B. Correa. Julian D. Walker. David Benjamin Rivera. Alexis L. Foyt. Aaron Reyes. Nathaniel J. Wolf. Matthew J. Fitzgerald. Paul J. Fox, Jr. Rick Villarreal. Jordan Romero. Jose A. Cepeda, Jr. Nashima T. Clark. Salma Jocelyn Lopez.
Good morning. I'm Justin Rose, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. There's just one college left, so I gotta know. Are you ready? You think so?
Let's try it again.
Let's try that again. Are you ready?
Now I think we're ready.
All right. Will the candidates for the degrees from the College of Arts and Sciences please stand and remain standing? Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Sciences. President Newkirk, The graduates whose names are printed in the program have satisfactorily completed all the requirements for graduation or soon will do so, and are recommended by the College of Arts and Sciences faculty for their degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Redlands and the laws of the state of California, I confer upon you the respective bachelor's degrees with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Candidates, you may be seated until the ushers call you your row to come forward so that we may acknowledge your achievements individually.
Right here. Accounting. Abril Castañeda. Mackenzie Neese. Citlali Abra Estrada. New Min Feng. Sofia Romero Gaona. Emily Webster. Lawrence J. Williams. William Mendez. Jacob W. Lee. Dominic Michael Vargas. Biochemistry and Molecular Biology. Alyssa M. Sorrell. Biology. Sami Abdul Majid. Justin R. Baden. Robert F. Dunhouse III. Ryan D. Gonzalez. Venus C. Beloso Fernandez. Memory R. Henry. Andreas D. Bita Makanu Baban. Alyssa C. Powers. Marcus Mitchell. Emily Marissa Hernandez. Teresa Marquina. Karen Casso. Monique R. Arellano. Ariana Suleni Marquez. Denise A. Velez. Isabel Ponce. Kylie Ann Martin. Grace E. Hove. Miranda E. Muller.
Leilani R. Lopez. Chloe Thuy Tien Phan. Fabiola Sofia Ayala Rivera. William Linden. Jay Duong. Catherine M. Mamikoni. Natalie Schumann. Kira Aiko Makame Kakugawa Halstone. Carly Hicks. Layla Hassan. Natasha Patel. Lindsay L. Barragan. Mason S. Dougherty. Zachary C. Sloss. Ashley Gashiola Valencia. Kenzie Neca Salinas Rosario. Lenny E. Huang. Marissa L. Collins. Jayla R. Ellen. Shubing Sun.
Business Administration. Moises Munoz Soto. Christopher Ordóñez. Matthew J. Perez. Cameron X. Brown. Armando A. Chavez. Carlos Gabriel Pérez de Vara. Jesus E. Collin. Aaron Muniz. Jordan J. Ford. Carson Christensen. Joseph K. Newell. Taylor A. Whaley. Jacob N. Espinosa. Jackson P. Kennedy. Alejo N. Arias. Stephen A. Becerra Luna. Ayari Aldape. Matthew True. Lucas L. Shabbat. Okay. Alex Moore. Clark Baskerville. Alexander D. Salzetti. Daisy A. Trevino. Justin Ibarra Ramallo. Logan L. Barrios. Dallas M. Barrios. Kyle Farquhar. Dylan R. Best. Gavin A. Maggio. Noemi E. Medrano. Lyric Waterman. Ella Ibarra. Sarah M. Martinez. Natalie Lothers. Avery Elizabeth Duran. Annika Parker. Gabriel Torres. Isaiah A. Soto. Sean McCants. Luke Hansen. Joe A. Godoy. Eric A. Ratter. Cindy Lucy Macias. Madeline Elizabeth Gritch. The next major. Hunter R. Ledesima.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dylan Moreira Segura. Or you can say Moreira Segura. 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 Just say Segura. Moreira Segura. Segura.
Dylan Moreira Segura. Matthew Burchett.
What?
Maximilian Alexander D'Artagnan DeVoe. Trevor M. Joy. Braden M. Horstman. Brian Derek Tello. Cesar F. Sanchez Jr. Krista Carbon. Jenna Schmidt. Murray Catherine Hummer. Mallory J. Morrissey. Layla Salim Dowd. Sarah Sinclair. Fernanda Garcia Rodriguez. Megan M. Leith. Annika K. Schmid. Hannah L. Rice. Daniela N. Rowand. Sophia E. Tucker. Arleth Anderson. Kaylee Gamboa. Gustavo Cedillo Martinez Ángel. Kian Tran. Carmen Lopez. Jason B. Salmeron. Yusuf Y. Mayet. Brady B. Bachman. Connor Morrow Claiborne. Christina Mia Maria Higuera.
Chemistry. Ethan J. Cheer. Andrew D. Romero. Valeria Espinosa Orozco. Ian C. Durham. Communication Sciences and Disorders. Avery Page Aminoff. Elena Isabel Van Pelt. Ella S. Suazo. Juliet M. Marcus. Devin Leiterman. Sophia Shelton. Jacqueline K. Landucci. Kaylin Walker. Kelsey Williams. Shireen Takuch. Natalie V. Morales. Mia Mendoza. Amy Isabella Ocampo. Anna Dominique Storniolo. Isabella Soto. Katie L. Ramsey. Carla V. Varela. Jocelyn Trejo Antonio. Beatriz Gonzalez. Tasman B. Guillard. Tanya M. Wienia. Bianca Isabella Roman. Judith Elisa Raras. Lisette Sotelo Murillo. Cameron J. Irwin. Jasmine Miranda. Alyssa Monique Bracamontes. Computer Science. Diego Cardenas. Frankie Colunga Jr. Liam Joel Graham. Lauren Sarah Lee. Lily K. Pantavong. Chloe Werner. Karen M. Vandenberg. Alani Julie Dow. Jefferson Rafael Diaz. Tristan Alexander Murad. Eduardo Martinez Jr. Demario Majestic Anderson.
Creative writing. Jackson T. Bolender. Mary Rose Morgan. Peyton J. Short. Kendall Lindsay. Stevie A. Nault. Quade B. Walls. Cooper K. Slayton. Victoria Ann Ramirez. Kayla Carroll. Data Science. Anika Tasbam. Kenzo Yui. Economics. Alex Colleran. Braden Hoare. Noam Joseph Larson. Danny Emmanuel Molestina. Omar H. Kayat. Financial Economics. Nicholas A. Karkarnakis. Tyler Pael. Keithan Efron. Alexander Waters. Boston St. Pierre. Jesus Plasencia. English Literature. Skyla M. Prado. Denger. Rissa A. Tarzian. Emma M. Taylor. Lila McCree Penrose. Guadalupe Lopez Mendez. Alessa A. Sampson. Celia Dolores Grotham. Alana Poinier. Madison Ray Kelly. Jaden King. Madison Irvin. Marissa Celine Torres. Environmental Science. Madison R. Eaton. Isabella L. Anderson. Elizabeth J. Eichinger. Benjamin E. Fitchett. Gianna M. Ratto. Ashley Y. Foster. Delani Nevares. Kendall J. Giesel. Brianna N. Guadamuz. Chase Alexander Hackert. 30? 40. 40? All right. Tag up next. Luke O. Gregory.
Environmental Studies. Gianna Ray Alati. Taylor Lynn Malaspino. Nandi Fisher. Callan E. Dixon. Dylan Gezzo. Andrew M. Bartlett. Global Business. Helene R. Bautista. Veronica Marie Spaniolo. Salma I. Elahiraki. Karen Santos. Health, Medicine, and Society. Hannah M. Alsbaugh. Brooklyn Michaelin Bard. Kimberly Guadalupe Ortiz. Natalie T. Turiachi. Abigail Virginia Jackson. Eve J. Laurent. Jaylene Danielle Ramirez. Tanner R. Herosa. Delilah Straka. Sabrina E. Alanis. Melanie Oriana Rodriguez. Ashley Alexa Figueroa Terrones. Martha R. Ventura. Gift James. Kostab Hosila. Daisy A. Parras. Gwendolyn Pomatha. Laurel Claire Hedrick. Emma Elizabeth Boyd. Alessandria Reeder. Emily Paola Silva. Vivian M. Retta.
History. Wyatt Blackman. Henry B. Chapman. Francisco J. Quintanilla Eguia. Colton James Camps. William Uminski. Brenton Jeffrey Edwards. Addison D. Shelby. Nicholas Lucor. Joseph Salazar. Thomas C. Pollard. Human Animal Studies. Kyra Clark. Jasmine Alyssa Pratt. International Relations. Quinn Patrick Riley. Johnston. Alejandro Aguilar. Pierce Sherpa. Sofia E. Reynoso. Annalena E. Loden. Ariana T. Vasquez. Keegan Rose Sherry. Sofia Hernandez. Aeon Blake Bantu. Shania Yvette Scott. Luca B. Davidoff. Thank you. Andres Castellano. Emerson Wright. Chrysanthemum U. Ahmed. Vaishali K. Halve. Kendall Yee. Rain O'Halloran. Zachary A. Chestelson. Savannah R. Wozniak. Marlo H. Ogren. David A. Tokar. Aster Hallman. Eleanor Tiesa Destiny Fifita. Gracie Van Dyke. Leslie Denise. Kinesiology. Harrison Owen Hart DeCougry. Jennifer I. Quinones Diaz. Nathan Davis. Devin M. Gitcheway. Luis G. Flores. Timothy J. Moynihan. Caesar Adame. David James Huggins. Sabrina M. Samir. Alyssa Zamora. Roxy Ann Tu Tran. Marshall Lewis. Caprial E. Loescher. Madeline E. Hughes. Addison Bailey Michael Kim. Lily N. James.
Liberal Studies for Education. Allie Marie Babineau. Haley May Wooliver. Jenna Marie Bradford. Shannon Danielle Stewart. Brittany M. Gonzalez. Mariana Kuhler Godinez. Avery Ann Shireen. Jennifer Ariana Gallejas. Cristina Iniguez. Stephanie Gomez Vega. Jennifer Barragan Ramirez. Michelle A. Serrato. Caitlin Dewey. Julie Chipris. Donna J. Kinnipple. Alyssa Shumara Ricalval. Caitlin D. Constantino. Tiffany G. Elias. Elizabeth Kelly Dahlberg. Elena Villalobos. Aiden J. Petruscu. Mathematics. Matthew Davis. Daniela Alejandra Garcia Hernandez. Emma Madrid. Leah Mulvihill. Media and Visual Culture Studies. Jaden A. Thorne. Nicholas Millett. Emily Patricia Wallace. Natalia Simone Sacro Libau. Media and Communication. Maylin Rodriguez Perez. Bailey A. Faquihar. Christopher James Chipman Jr. Anthony E. Thomas. Kanan James Treese. Mikhail Ennis. Jamie Gabriela Jovel Flores. Jai Dooley. Jacob Zuniga. Cameron William Chegamaya Kisob.
Music. Liam A. Quinn. Noah W. Larrabee. Eve Mavey. Alejandro Ruiz. Emily D. Salas. Jelena M. Harris. Nylea Garcia. Christopher Yanes. Evelyn Nicole Duran. Ethan A. Vo. Haley T. Yo.
Okay, Jazz.
Jasmine N. Tanzi. Denny Duran Flores.
Passed with the wrong person.
Jays M. Goodin. Ryan M. Vicray. Philosophy. Vanessa M. Soria. Physics. Daniel Avila. Laura E. Bagley. Bagley. Cesar A. Garcia Mora Jr. Kyle A. Deng. Patrick James Lang II. Political science. Wendy Aguilar Martinez. Chi Lu. Kobe Cheyenne Stanley. Asia Sarai Marie Campbell Shepard. Natalie L. Bravo. Madison Lorenko. Raymond E. Martinez Jr. Sean A. McMaster. Ainsley Killian. Celia Therese Conti. Charles Rowe. Darren A. Verdugo. Ian A. Umscheid.
Psychology. Kennedy Portia Bell. Samantha Bayless. Alyssa Ashley. Colby Zorich. Paige Elizabeth Sugg. Brianna April Garcia. Maya Holshoe. Kayla M. Jackson. Caitlin V. Gandara. Landon Acevedo. Chloe A. Ligze. Samantha Michaela Ann Carper. Emma Rivas. Gabriel Munier. Cole Michael Goyette. Grayson G. Bullock. Antonio Hernandez Jr. Emily J. Partida. Vanessa D. Russell. Haley Jade Hemsworth. Jose R. Gamboa. Ashley Martinez. Ashley Carrasco Hernandez. Valeria Balber. Demia V. Barbosa. Marissa Dilmeong Spires. Kiara Bisotto. Mika Mandan Hall. Xavier Cardenas. Logan Lamar Torres. Jacqueline Vialta. Leandrew Donovan Torres. Camille Ann Schnitzius. Craig A. Kraus III. Public Policy. Lilia Elizade. Samantha Carrillo. Yay! Jamie N. Piercy. Tyler Durden Nelson. Sofia Ruelas. Alejandro Uribe.
Race and Ethnic Studies. Omar Magaña. Chelsea Vilty. Marcel S. Edenlord. Jordan R. Hayes. Religious Studies. Gabriel Arch Ramirez. Sociology and Anthropology. Moniel Aguirre. Natalie Gilboy Kate. Delia M. Copeland. Karen E. Avila. Jocelyn P. Galloway. Chrislyn M. Mozga. Spanish. Jennifer Leal. Libertad Pérez Romero. Myra Island Ramirez. Studio Art. Scott B. Blankenship, Jr. Avery Kate Heidbrecht. Corinne Mora Flores. Paulina Ramirez. Brandon Carey. Monique Lisa Cormier. Caitlin V. Campos. Wayne Bullock III. Sustainable Business. Jejun Krasarowski. Theo A. Olson.
Oh, you got it. Okay, people, here we go.
Big shout.
Theater. Grace A. Carey. Skylar Ellis. Isabella Rodriguez. Silvia Elena Torres. Women, Gender, and Sexuality Studies. Emmeline S. D'Antonio. Alexandra L. Riffle. Indigo M. Davis. Thank you.
All right, graduates. Now is the time you've all been waiting for. Graduates, please stand. Okay, graduates, to symbolize your graduation, you may now move the tassels on your caps from the right side to the left. Congratulations, class of 2026. Congratulations to each of you who have earned this distinction, and I welcome you to the Society of Collegiate Scholars and to our prestigious alumni community. I'd like to welcome Chaplain Walsh back to the podium to close with a benediction before our students lead us in singing the Alma Mater, which is on the back of your program. Following the Alma Mater, we will have a formal recessional led by the university's trustees and leadership, followed by our faculty, and then by our graduates. So please stand and wait for your row to be excused at the end of the ceremony. You may sit down now. All right, thank you all.
I want to paraphrase an ancient blessing. It's simply goodbye, which is short for God be with you. God be with you as you leave this place and begin a new chapter in your lives. God be with you as you seek to bring empathy, wisdom, and compassion into this new world. God be with you as you work to enable lasting peace and true justice to be a part of everyone's world, not just yours. God be with you in all your endeavors. God be with you. Goodbye. Now please stand.
Because she needs stickers.
Ooh, that's a mean shadow.
Y'all ready for this?
Santos.
I choose to hear and follow.
Thank goodness I didn't want Jason.